Welcome to Fulton's Cold Case. I'm your host, Chris Foss, North Fulton Community Prosecutor. In this edition of Cold Case, we'll tell you about the show's new partnership with Crime Stoppers of Greater Atlanta and tell you how you can get cash rewards for your information. We'll also take a look at the Cold Case Research Institute right here in the metro area. Plus, we'll profile a few cases and ask you for your help in solving these crimes. All of this and more when Fulton's Cold Case begins right after the break. Welcome back to Fulton's Cold Case. I'm Chris Foss, your host, and the North Fulton Community Prosecutor with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. The DA's office, along with a number of law enforcement agencies, partner to investigate and ultimately solve crimes in the community. And in almost every case, the cooperation of witnesses is what helps to obtain justice. Fulton's Cold Case takes a look at some of the many cases that have yet to be solved in our community in an effort to bring awareness to the cases that have gone cold. Before we give details about today's cases, we'd like to tell you about a new partnership we have formed with Crime Stoppers of Greater Atlanta. Cold Case correspondent Shania Chavis has the details.
Crime Stoppers, may I help you?
Operators dedicated to Crime Stoppers Greater Atlanta field dozens and dozens of calls each week.
Okay, how do you know this is the suspect?
Crime Stoppers Atlanta, to date, has aided in the arrest of more than 900 suspects, lawbreakers, identified thanks to the help of everyday people who called a tip in.
We get tips on all cases. We get tips on illegal dumping cases, murder cases, a lot of tips on narcotics, stolen auto rings, robberies, anything that gets televised on the news or is in the social media, people call in about it.
Over 80 jurisdictions use the Crime Stoppers tip line in the Greater Atlanta region, and every one of the calls that come in is anonymous and not subject to an open records request.
None of these documents can ever be retrieved because it's basically organized by the 501c3, by the nonprofit organization. So there's no call logs. If you email in a tip or text in a tip, we don't capture the domain name. The program that we utilize scrubs all that information off, so we're not able to know who the tipster is unless you reveal yourself.
Crime Stoppers Greater Atlanta was started by the Atlanta Police Foundation and has partners all across the region, including federal jurisdictions like the FBI, DEA, and the Marshals Task Force, who they work with almost daily. Well, now Crime Stoppers is partnering with Fulton's Cold Case.
We work with any organization that needs an outlet for attention for their case. So for instance, Fulton Cold Case, if they have a case that needs media attention, they can always utilize us, use our social media. I have a great relationship with current TV and news media and radio, anything that they can get attention to the case.
We're told that payouts for a regular tip could be up to $2,000. And while Crime Stoppers welcomes any tip, that tip must lead to an arrest and conviction before any cash reward is provided. For Fulton's Cold Case, I'm Shania Chavis.
Thank you very much. Now you can give your anonymous tips directly to Crime Stoppers. Their phone number is 404-577-TIPS. That's 404-577-8477. You can also connect with them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on their website. When we come back, we'll take you to the Cold Case Research Institute. Stay with us. Welcome back to Fulton's Cold Case. While law enforcement agencies are always looking for the public's help in solving its cases, they now have another source: college students from the Cold Case Research Institute.
Yeah, they did.
Cheryl McCollum is the founder and director of the Cold Case Research Institute at Argosy University in North Fulton County.
The Cold Case Investigative Research Institute is a nonprofit in Georgia, and we take on high-profile, unsolved cases. Some of the cases that are probably the most high-profile have been Sean DeLevy, the Boston Strangler, Wayne Williams, Tupac Shakur, but we've had several other cases that people generally have not heard of, like Lavina Johnson or Sean Beatty.
They have been very successful in finding evidence.
There's been several cases we have found evidence. Sean Beatty in Oklahoma, we found some evidence from the ruins of her home from an arson. And then there's Morris Ford Bridge right here in Georgia, just out I-20, where after 60-something years, we were able to recover bullets, fragments, and casings from that scene and turn it over to the FBI.
25 college campuses across the country have a division of the Cold Case Research Institute. While the program does not receive government funding, it does rely on students who volunteer their time.
Everybody volunteers their time, everybody. The colleges have been tremendously generous. I mean, again, here we have the Institute housed at Argosy. That's just something Argosy does for us. It doesn't cost us any money to have it here, to host trainings here, to host classes here. And the students, of course, get the benefit of the national experts coming and training them and working alongside them.
As a result of the Institute's success over the years, law enforcement agencies often ask program volunteers for help on cold cases.
The way the cases come to us are many avenues, but mostly they come from families and law enforcement.
The Cold Case Research Institute is not only helping to solve cases, it is also teaching students lessons of a lifetime.
Well, I think the main thing that I like for people to understand about the Institute is these are college students that aren't getting a grade, they're not getting any credit, they're not getting paid, it's not an internship. It is strictly because they think it's the right thing to do.
If you would like to get in touch with the Cold Case Research Institute, you can contact them through Argosy University in Atlanta or on their Facebook page. We'll be right back with today's cold cases. Stay with us. Today's cold case is the story of Megan Summers. Megan's body was found on August 30th, 1997 in a vacant lot in the 500 block of Fair Street in Atlanta. Megan was 16 years old. And our second case is the story of Lawana Hall. Lawana's body was found by her husband on October 22nd, 1987 in a wooded area on Arno Drive in northwest Atlanta. Lawana was just 19 years old. If you have any information on these cases, please let us know. You can call Crime Stoppers to leave your anonymous information, or you can also contact the District Attorney's Office at atlantada.org. That wraps up this edition of Fulton's Cold Case. I'm Chris Foss. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.